your Uncle Zilla learned a valuable lesson today. Don't read everything just because you're hyped about something. Case in point, the book I'm going to be reviewing today, Astonishing X-Men, Monstrous. Now, the reason why I'm reviewing this book, and the reason why I read it, was pretty much because I was still in the hype for Pacific Rim, which is by now, like tomorrow or tonight, the 10 p.m. premiere, depending on where you live. That is kind of why I was reading. It was like, oh, hey, I saw this in my library. I was like, oh, hey, I like giant monsters. That's a movie coming out, and then a few weeks later, we're going to have a Wolverine movie, and X-Men has Wolverine in it. So it was kind of a combination of giant monsters and X-Men. I was like, oh, I'm in a mood for both. Okay. Then I saw who wrote the book. Daniel Way. Dun dun da. Now, for those who don't know, I'm not the biggest Daniel Way fan at all. I mean, this guy, as my good friend Dukaloops 1993 has said multiple times, he is the king of Plainsville if there ever were a place. Because here's the thing. Some of his things range from okay to, oh my god, get me in the lobotomy to get this shit out of my brain. That is the range he goes for. I mean, granted, he has a few good ideas. He has some really good ideas. They just don't have the best execution. So, Daniel Way book, that's just my opinion. If you like Daniel Way books, that's totally fine. Me, I'm just in no way a Daniel Way fan. So, anywho, let's talk about this book. Now, this book focuses on... the story is that the character known as Mentallo... Now, if you don't know who Mentallo is this character that first appeared in The Incredible Hulk long ago in the 60s, and has been kind of like a D-list villain for a while. What he is, he's pretty much a psychic, and he's a very D-list villain, and he knows it, and he's been asked by Roxxon Oil, the Roxxon Oil company, to protect their group while they're going out drilling for oil on Monster Island. Yes, in the Marvel Universe, for those who don't know, there is a Monster Island, but there is no Godzilla. There's Fin Fang Foom and a few other lesser-known monsters, but anywho, it pretty much starts out with Mentallo. I'm trying not to say Metallo, even though it's Mentallo. It's Mentallo. Mentallo then mind controls all the monsters on the island and pretty much bribes Roxxon Oil into, giving him $8 million. 800 million, excuse me. And what he's pretty much doing, he's pretty much like, okay, you don't want to do this? Alright, I'll just send giant monsters all over the world, starting with Tokyo, and attack areas in the city. I'll attack drilling companies, and, you'll really be hurting then. Meanwhile, while this is going on, the X-Men known as Armor, is training with Wolverine, and then she gets a call that her mother and her brother were killed. And her mother and her brother were killed in a car accident, and she goes to Japan for a funeral, along with Wolverine, Cyclops, and Emma Frost. Now, here's where I have the problem. This story is supposed to focus on Armor. That's what I got from the first issue, and the first issue was actually kind of good. I was actually really impressed by it. And, it had a lot of good build-up to it. It had, Cyclops being not a dick. He's not written as a dick in here. He's treated with a lot of care, and Wolverine is treating, Armor, he's caring about her situation, and he, Cyclops, and Emma go with Armor to support her in when her mother and brother's funeral is going on. While this is going on as well, is that Armor's father is very distant. He pretty much has no remorse. He is very cold to her. And then suddenly Fin Fang Foom shows up, and he's wrecking the city. First issue, it's going good. Then the second issue kicks in. Oh my god, I wanted to kill myself. Because from here on out, it was straight up suck. Okay, here's some of the problems I had with it. First problem, this goes from being a Armor story to a Wolverine and Emma Frost story, because those two are pretty much it. Because they pretty much go to Monster Island to stop Mentallo and release all the hold on the monsters. And then Armor saves the Blackbird when it gets shot down and... brought down by some monsters, and she covers it with a force field, and then she's unconscious for the next two parts. Following that is also Scott, who has some of his ribs broken, so he's taken out. So it's pretty much Wolverine and Emma's story from there on out, and it's just really annoying with those two. They just bicker. And also in the second issue, we have a moral quandary for Fin Fang Foom while he's wrecking the city, and he's being mind controlled. And Cyclops, and here's where I was like, really? Because Cyclops is voting for, oh, let's kill the monster, and Wolverine is like, no, it doesn't know what it's doing. It's big and mean, but it doesn't understand what it's doing. It just wants, it's being mind controlled. Here's where I have a problem. I would have been a lot more, nice to this book if it were the other way around, where Wolverine is saying, let's kill it, while Cyclops is saying, no, this isn't our way, we can try to break their mental hold on him. That's why I think I would have been liking it, but then in this time around, it's just like, oh yeah, the roles, if the roles were switched, I would have been a little more okay with it, because that's more in their characters. And like I said, it becomes a Wolverine book, and it's not even that interesting. The thing, like I said, this really had a lot of build-up for being much for Armor's story, because that's what it felt like. It was them going to Japan for her sake, and it was I was really hoping for some good character development of Armor, because she's a very cool X-Man in my opinion. Granted, I do like Wolverine, Cyclops, and even Emma to an extent, but in here, they're just written so badly, and the monsters barely get any screen time. They're just treated like, oh, monster, run away. Oh, monster, fight it, run away. Oh, monster. Even with Fin Fang Foom, he's not really treated with any respect. They don't even call him Fin Fang Foom, but you know. And he's kind of taken out really quick by Armor. So, yeah, there's just so many problems with this book. Mentallo is so boring as a villain. He's just doing this to get money. Although, there was one good joke in here. And there's this, where he's telling Wolverine and Emma, after he captures them, he's telling them about, getting all the money, and Emma's like, wait a minute, you're just doing this for money? And he's like, yeah, what do I look like, a supervillain? No, I just want to get paid. So I thought that was actually a really funny joke, that he's not doing the, he could easily be like, I can send these monsters all over the world since I mind controlled them, and it had that, a destroy all monsters kind of thing, but no, it goes the whole route of I just want to get paid. I thought that was actually kind of funny. But anywho, yeah, this book, I don't need to say it, this book was just, I really did not care for this book. I'm glad I didn't buy it, I just read it in the library. I didn't even check it out. It's just like, giant monsters and X-Men in one book, and I'm hyped for both movies. Okay. Anywho, that's pretty much my review. Again, if there's any Daniel Way fans out there, I apologize, because I may not be a big fan of Daniel Way, but that doesn't mean anyone else. That doesn't mean that if you like Daniel Way, I'm going to hate you. No, everyone has their own opinion. That's what that's what I've always said. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So if you like Daniel Way, that's cool. I don't mind. I bear no ill will against you. But for me, yeah, he has yet to impress me. Anywho, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm out.